Hello everybody and welcome back to Casual Gamer Oz as we move into our fourth season on career mode here on F1 2017. My name is Ben Waterworth and the driver is Ben Waterworth. We're still with Toro Rosso and we're going to try and make our way out of this team by the end of the year. Hopefully not get demoted to Sauber. We want to get promoted to a better team, and this is the season I feel we're going to do it. We're obviously at Albert Park for the first race of the season, a race that we've struggled with sadly, which is a race that I actually generally really like. Best qualifying here of 17th back in Season 2 here on F1 2017. But let's get into the race. Now, you would have heard me, oh, look at this weird thing, you're going to hear me obviously talk a little bit in the previous ones about how we were going to we're going to reduce the difficulty slightly. We're going to do one notch down from 70 to 71 to 70. I completely forgot to do that before this race, so we will do that in between Australia and China. And you know, it might be a little bit unfair, I guess, to kind of reduce it, but we're trying our best here, folks. And I just feel that again, we're getting punished a lot more than we are getting rewarded, even in the ones that we're actually doing fairly well in. And it's just no progress is being made. So we want to try and get a little bit up there with it. So we're going to at least reduce it just a notch, just only one. And obviously we're going to get a lot more updates this season for you as well in terms of the overall progress of the car. So we're still going to do that. And we just haven't done that just yet here for the start of Season 4. So just keep an eye on that. Anyway, just thought we'd update you there. So we're 17th at the moment. That's where we're expected to be on the grid. We're going to try and maintain that level of expectations moving forward here. We've dropped down now to 18th, so already a bad start here in this Toro Rosso. And obviously we became pretty much the worst car in the field last year, hovering on the bubble there with Sauber, and McLaren had leapfrogged us. On the overall side of things, obviously the engine side of things, which is kind of the part of the car that we're focusing on a lot at the moment, they're still behind us, that ragged Honda, but we're obviously still focusing on that. I think we're going to just miss out on 17th here. We're going to cross the line in 18th. Damn it. Yeah, shut up, Jeff. Alright, so already we're off to a bad start. We're going to see the differential, I guess, in terms of our performance when we do go down a notch. But obviously Vettel, the reigning champion in this game now, won it in Season 3. Good for him. He's gotten the pole, so a good start for Ferrari already. No other changes really on anything else on the grid. We'll move forward and get to race day. The fact that we're going to do now. Alright, so best ever finish here at Albert Park. 16th, which came in last season. So we've struggled to really get off to a good start here at Albert Park. So we'll try our darndest. Again, as I keep bringing up, Season 1 here in F1 2017, we really should have done a lot better, but we got pushed out of it by Grosjean. So that's how that rolled. But we're obviously aiming to get to 500 resource points, which actually we've got, I should say. We can only develop one part of the car at one stage, sadly. And we've already put in an upgrade to go towards China, so we can't really do anything there. And we're dropping back. Sauber like us. I think that's just because they know they probably can hire us. Alright. Let's get this one over and done with, and hopefully things can get a little bit easier for us if we just smidge down that difficulty just a tad moving forward into China. But our focus here is Australia. We want to finish the race. Of course we do. We want to get as high as we can. Of course we do. And we don't want to start this season off badly. This is our fourth season for Toro Rosso, our fourth F1 2017 season. Last season, only 3 points finishes. We only got 4 points in total. It was pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Our worst season by far. Had less retirements, believe it or not, than the season before. It's our second best season in terms of retirements. But still, sadly, not where we want to be. Alright. Let's start off Season 4 well. We have got the inside line, which is good. We'll put her onto rich revs just for the opening lap. Season 4 is underway here in F1 2017 on Casual Gamer Oz. As we get a decentish start, we should get ahead of Alonso here. And we're going to brake just a tad early to avoid some carnage. We did get ahead of Alonso, but Van Dorn's found his way up through there. Maybe that was Van Dorn that we got ahead of. It was. As we find our way now into Turn 3. Always some good manoeuvres available here at Turn 3 if we can hold on to the car, which we do. Oh, we've been clipped from behind there. I'm not sure who that was. But we've held on to it. We've moved our way up to 14th. I don't expect us to finish into the top 17. So far so good. And again, just going on that punishment system, we only missed out on our grid spot by 1 place. And the fact then that we get, you know, reputation drops off as much as it does, I just think that's unfair. You only miss out on one spot. Now, realistically, are they going to be that disappointed if you miss out on one spot? Really? I mean, I don't think they are. That's just my opinion. We're going to switch it off Rich Revs now. We've, I think, done our dash in terms of where we're going to be. I feel that Stroll here will stroll away, pardon the pun. So we're just going to keep this on standard rev modes. We've got our teammate getting racy with us, which is flashback to, was it Abu Dhabi, the last Grand Prix of the last season, where he got a bit racy with us as well. Obviously, a couple of seasons ago. Whoa, there's a big train going into that section. Not expecting that. I get a warning for exceeding track limits. Fair enough. Does more to save my car, if anything. Let's get a rich rev from those here going into turn 1 and turn 3. Because these are two very key overtaking spots. Not going to get one there, but hopefully we can maintain it coming up here to turn 3 and we can get around Stroll here. Not expecting to be challenging after the first lap. Generally, they pace falls away a little bit. We should get Stroll here, surely. We do. Perfect. Thank you very much. We'll take that. Move ourselves up into 13th. All right. So far onto our on for our best finish ever here at Albert Park, and maintaining that gap just ahead here to Kevin Magnussen. Old suck my balls, honey. Of course, our rival is Jolyon Palmer, as you would have seen before, and we're too far back to win that rivalry, I feel. And as always, we still have not won a rivalry here in F1 2017, now entering our 4th season. So that in itself is not a good sport. But having said that, they do give us some pretty difficult rivals, the ones that, you know, we sort of beat, but then we don't sort of beat, if that makes sense. Anyway, keep pushing our way up here. Hanging on to the back of Magnussen, not pulling away as much as I expected them to. See track limits there again slightly, and hopefully not get a warning for it. We don't. Let's go back up to the rich revs again, but I'm pushing that very much. I'm just going to do it again into turn 1 and to turn 3 only, because they do seem to be the two parts where we get the biggest overtaking opportunities, and I should get DRS here. I'm not going to, though. Interesting. Now that to me looks like I'm within a second of Magnussen. We'll put it out of rich modes there because we don't want to waste the fuel. Save that for some other opportunities here on Kevin. Nice clean start so far here to F1 2017 Career Mode Season 4. And I hope you're enjoying it, and I hope you've got those fingers crossed that we can have a strong Season 4 after 2 difficult seasons here on F1 2017. We want to find our way up the grid. We want Season 5 to be in a different team, because I'm getting sick of staring at this blue car, to be honest. And, I mean, it's a beautiful livery car, that's why we chose it. And obviously, you know, a bit of a challenge in the midfield, we supposedly thought we would be. But, sadly, not quite up that end as where we thought we would be. As it's really been the qualifying that obviously lets us down. Once we get into a decent position in a race and we avoid sort of trouble, we tend to do okay. That's kind of why I don't really want to reduce the difficulty, because I feel I'm capable of beating these guys. It's just the scale of punishment and negativity that kind of comes across it. Now, we're going to not even bother with the rich mode there, because we're losing ground here to Magnussen. And it's more maybe about defending Lance Stroll at the moment. He's going to get some DRS on me here coming into turn 3. But we'll be able to cover him. Thank you, Lancimus. I don't know why I call him Lancimus. It just seems like it fits, but it doesn't really. Anyway. Obviously we're going to have that increased engine capacity for China. And we'll be able to do another upgrade too, of course, because we've still got points in the bank. But obviously they can only do one at a time. And I think that comes down to, on that grand scheme of things, there's like a career tree, which obviously we've ticked off a few boxes when it comes to the invitational side of things, that you can increase department capacity so they can work on more than one part at once if you complete a lot in the practice modes, I believe. But obviously we don't do practice here on Casual Gamer Oz. So, Lance Stroll, very racy here. I'm going to let him go on the outside And, no, thank you, Lance. You can stay back there. A bit scared that he was going to take me out there, Lance Stroll, but we've got one more lap to stroll around him and keep him behind us. Let's hope we can do that. Just maintain it there. Generally, that grandstand there in the last corner is where I've sat the last 2 years, by the way. Generally, I know I've talked a lot on the US, the Mexican, the Canadian, and the Malaysian Grand Prix of where I've sat when I've been to the races, and kind of don't do it a lot here in Australia because, well, I've sat everywhere here at the Australian Grand Prix. I've kind of walked around this entire circuit and watched pretty much racing through every session. I mean, I've been to, I think, 10 Australian Grand Prix now, so... but the last 2 years, in 2016 and 2017, I've actually sat for the very first time in grandstands at the Australian Grand Prix. I sat in the Schumacher stand on the last turn, which is a nice little cheap stand, or cheap, I guess, by Australian standards. And I sit in the Ferrari fan supporter zone, so always passionate Ferrari people, and I was lucky enough to see my very first Ferrari win at Albert Park this year in 2017. Sadly, my very first Australian Grand Prix I went to was 2003, and then my next one I went to was 2005, so I was sandwiched right between those two successful Schumacher eras, and never got to see Schumacher win a Grand Prix in person, which I'm very sad about. I was a bit of a jinx to him at a lot of races. My parents used to joke. Alright, Stroll's going to have another run at me here. And again, we can cover him off, I feel we can. And we should have done enough here right now. Obviously, the pace dropping off a lot in the second half of the race. And who won the Grand Prix? Raikkonen did. Congratulations, Kimi. Good start. You missed out the championship very closely last season. And we're going to maintain this 13th position. Our best ever finish in Albert Park. Good way to start the season. I'll take it. Jeffrey? Thanks very much for your congratulations. I really appreciate it, dickhead. And that is a good way to start the season, even though it's not points. But, again, satisfactory. We'll take it. And hopefully we can feel a bit of the performance increase next time around. And maybe with the difficulty down a little bit, we'll also feel it there too. So Raikkonen wins from Hamilton. Pole sitter Vettel drops down to third. Ricciardo in his home race couldn't quite get on the podium. Bottas, Verstappen, Massa, Grosjean, Ocon and Perez. We'll just have a bit of a look at the replay here, of course, won't we? Just to see how we started off. And defending against the Saubers there. Find myself right in the inside. Just brake a little bit too early there for my liking, but again, just trying not to damage the front wing going into turn one. It's so easy to do in this game. This is where I make a bulk of my positions, and I get very close to my teammate. Just go off the track just ever so slightly. Oh, and my teammate nearly clips me there. Signs got a very bit racy with me, and very lucky not to get taken out by Carlos there. I get myself in that sort of middle zone as I approach Lance Stroll, and obviously I'll eventually get that position on Lance and then keep him behind for the rest of the Grand Prix. Alright, that'll do. So we don't really see the standings, so we know the drivers with the constructors. So Ferrari leading, Mercedes, Red Bull, Williams, Haas, Force India, Renault, Toro, Sauber to score. So we're off to China next. We'll have an invitational one though, won't we, in between then and now. So we'll obviously join you for that one. In the meantime, remember to like, subscribe, comment here on Casual Gamer Oz as we continue our career mode in F1 2017. Thank you for watching and good night.